Hi, good evening. This is now the final 30 minute of the marathon 2 hour discussion that we have been having. This is the week five. Yes, week five of our virtual career counselor virtual conversation. This is the week two of the career counselors roundtable. Prior to this, we hosted the virtual school leaders roundtable. I'm so honored that for the last 90 minutes, we have been hearing from colleagues from uh, Apsara Academy in Pune. We had Director General Lakshmi ma'am coming in and sharing wonderful 30 minutes with us about what does she feel is the success criteria for girls at Apsara Academy, which is a fantastic institution that everybody should know about in education. We also had just now we concluded the talk with Safira from Nigeria. She was talking about the Nigerian students' career aspirations and the trends that she's seeing. With the earlier part of this webinar, we had dear colleagues and dear friends from Delhi career counseling landscape. Three of them that came in and shared their perspectives. Soma ma'am from Sun City School. Then we had Pathway School, Charu ma'am, and then we had Anamika Sethi ma'am from DPS Sector 45 in Gurgaon. Now we have the final round. We have three very distinguished counselors from Bangalore. I love Bangalore weather, but I hate Bangalore traffic. That is what I'll start with. I mean, every time somebody tells me, you take the morning flight to Bangalore and come back in the evening. I said, no way. 3 hours to Bangalore from Delhi and then 3 hours from there to airport to the city. I'm not going that. I will stay there for one night. But Bangalore has given us some very, very dear counselors, dear friends. I mean, three of them are here. I've had a long association with, Anamika ji. I have not visited your school personally, but I have visited Aparna's ma'am school. Shailaja ma'am to has been, you were part of Intersect 5. Recently, you were at our campus at Masters Union. I don't know if Aparna was there for this time around. I didn't see you. And Anamika, you were not there for Intersect 5, but I know Shailaja and me also went for that late dinner that we hosted at क्या था वो my team took us there and we had nice dinner and we had 2-3 days of fun. But Aparna ma'am is the head of career counseling at 10X International School in Bangalore. It's a fantastic school. I mean, everybody should know this school by now. Part of Indus International School campus. I've been at Indus multiple times. I've been to the Itari campus. We hosted a training program 2 years back for TOC when I was there. I remember we had a great time. Aparna ma'am, thank you so much for joining us here. I mean, she has had a fantastic career throughout and done a lot of work in international education, career guidance, career counseling. So honored to have you here with us to talk about the Bangalore career counseling landscape. Shailaja ma'am is again another very well known name in the career counseling sector, globally known. I mean, known in India. My association with her again goes back many years. I don't know how many years, but I mean, at least my time at Jindal and then at Masters Union now with CALFO. I mean, all these organizations I know. I had deep association and deep collaboration with Shailaja ji. Always a pleasure and an honor to have you here. She is the head of career counseling at Punskap groups of schools. I mean, there is a school in Bangalore, but then there are other schools in Gurgaon, in Delhi NCR, in Lucknow, and ma'am heads the career counseling for the group schools. And then we have Anamika ma'am. Anamika ma'am, I had the honor of meeting recently. I think we have met at conferences, but not had the honor of having more detailed conversation with her. So I wanted to bring her also to this. She is the head of career counseling at Primus International School in Bangalore, and again I know from all the three schools. I don't know about 10X, but I know we have students from Primus and Kunskap Poland at Masters Union. Uh, and we have had fantastic students. I mean, every time my admissions team does applications, and then we have a now come incoming class in August. We just closed our admissions on 30th of June, and every time they tell me the Bangalore students are really good. We should do more work in Bangalore. We should go more to and meet the students. Some of them tell me that we should start a campus in Bangalore. Why does Masters Union have a campus in Bangalore? That's the request that my
Absolutely.
Bangalore
That would be
families
great.
tell me. Yeah, please come to
Yes, I
Bangalore,
think.
set up a campus.
Yeah.
So,
No,
I
I
mean, all
think
those things happen.
the
Yes.
whole
So,
premise of what Masters Union stands for, I think, is apt for a city like Bangalore, which is known as the startup capital of India. So absolutely, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's time you started a campus in Bangalore.
no, absolutely. And that's why I said, I mean, of all the cities that we travel to, Bangalore is the one city that the students, the parents, the counselors will tell us, why don't you open a campus here? And that's a serious consideration that we
Right.
have, because we have such a strong interest from Bangalore students and such a motivated set of students that even come to Delhi, Gurgaon, and they are focused. This is why we are here and this is what we are want to do. Uh, so perfect. So I would now like to start on the subject. I sorry, I had a little longish introduction because I had so much to say about all three of you. But I will now want to also bring you in into the picture. We want to talk about the Bangalore career counseling landscape, uh, and let me start by, and there is no order that we have decided. We have some talking points that we have shared with all three of them, and the panelists are free to share their views as and may they may see fit on each subject or topics that they may like or not like. I may ask pointed questions, but first of all, just to keep it a bit open, we'd like to invite opening remarks from all three of them, and then we'll get into the Q&A. Audience, you can use the chat section to type in your questions or feedbacks or remarks. I saw a chat message that the voice is not clear. Uh, Please let us know if that's the case for everyone. It is pretty clear for me. I can hear everybody very nicely. A couple says voice is clear. Perfect. So Dipali, I think it is from your audio. Please check your headphones or I mean the audio device that you're using. Otherwise, it's been working fine since last 2 hours and pretty much okay. So let's start with the question. I mean, Bangalore is often described as India's innovation capital. How does that influence the aspirations and university choices of students our career counselors work with? Let's start with Shailaja ma'am. Over to you, and then we'll go around.
Thank you so much, Ankur, inviting me for this. Also considering me among the Bangalore counselors. So it's a
You
pleasure.
are. I have to come to Bangalore to meet you in your school.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So it's an honor to be with Aparna ma'am and Anamika ma'am and to share my perspectives and learn from their insights. So as we started, we know Bangalore is the startup capital. Around 40% of India's tech startup innovation is in Bangalore till date, right? So, and I think working in Gurgaon, working in Bangalore, I have seen this change and the influence of this ecosystem, specifically in the students of Bangalore. So, one simple example is the mindset of career first thinking. So,
Yes.
mostly they choose the career over a degree. And also, the advantage is they can leverage the network they have. So, most of our parents, either they are a startup founders or the CXOs from the company. So the kids from grade 8 and 9 onwards start exploring and leveraging this network. So this is the main advantage. I think I'll leave it open to my other colleagues.
Perfect. May I invite Aparna ma'am? Over to you, ma'am. You
Sure, I
can
think I
add to what
second.
Shailaja was saying.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ankur, for inviting me for this panel discussion today. And it's an honor to be sort of co-panelist with Shailaja and Anamika, who are good friends of mine as well. And I would second what Shailaja said, is that the innovation ecosystem in Bangalore actually increases the expectation of the student in terms of what they're looking for in a college program. And like Shailaja said, it's no longer just a degree. Is it a pathway to a career that is going to allow them opportunities to explore beyond the traditional sort of educational degree programs that were offered in India or even abroad, for example. It's not just return on investment for the money they're spending, but it's return on investment for what that knowledge will bring in terms of skill development and how it will help them in becoming either future startup owners themselves, or even if they're going to work in an industry in the future, they're looking to see how they can leverage what this particular degree program is going to give them to make them stand out in comparison to others who are going to traditional degree pathways. So I think the expectation of students and parents has changed. And also children are looking to now become problem solvers. They just don't want a job. They're looking to see how can I as an individual make a difference in the society or in industry, and what is it a particular educational program can give me. So students in Bangalore are looking at things very differently, and I think their expectations are also changing given the exposure to the innovation ecosystem that they have.
Mm. Thank you. Anamika ma'am, over to you for your opening remarks.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ankur, for considering me for this panel. I'm really honored. So I actually agree with both Shailaja and Aparna. Yes, there's a definite, we are the tech capital of the country. There's a lot of innovation. Students think differently. I think our parents and students are very clued in to exploring different kinds of career pathways. At the same time, I've also seen a shift in what the schools expect from a career counselor. They want to make sure that we're giving them well researched, we're giving students well researched information. We are doing an ethical job. We are helping them create a list of priorities. So these are the things that our schools are also looking at, and this kind of ecosystem has affected the way our schools function as well. So my school offers Cambridge as well as the state board. So it's two very distinct, learning paths. And I have students from both, from both the streams who come to me for counseling help. So to make sure that I'm giving, well-researched information is something that I expect from myself, and I think the schools also expect from us. So that shift has also taken place, I think.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to Anamika ma'am and to everyone for your opening remarks. Now, there are a couple of things that we have discussed since 4 o'clock today. Because from Nigeria to Afsara Academy to, Delhi counselors, we were talking about the impact of three generic things. One is the geopolitics, where we are seeing a lot of issues around visas, the cost of education, the ROI conversation, the traditional destination, the big four destinations for students to go abroad, may no longer be that attractive for them. Students and parents are having a hard conversation around, okay, what is in it really in terms of ROI? And then second thing that's a theme that we have discussed is AI, and the noise around AI that we keep hearing. Uh, has that impacted your career counseling landscape? And the third thing, very interestingly, was the school counselors talked about the pressure coming from. Is it enough? How much is enough for a student to make it to a big ticket university or those, famous universities that everybody wants to click a photograph around? Is it becoming too tough, competitive, too pressurizing? For the students, and generally it is. That's the trend that I saw in the last three conversation. But I want to understand now with the Bangalore counselors, also with all three of you, what has been your understanding of how this has impacted your career counseling? What is the impact that you are having in your conversation with students, with families? Anything that you want to share on these probably three, four, or other trends that you are seeing? Shailaja ji, over to you. You can probably start reflecting.
Yeah, I have been listening to the earlier panel with the Delhi NCR and all three colleagues who spoke. And I definitely agree with those points. It's quite similar in Bangalore also. But one specific or a slightly different trend which I have seen here is the love for mathematics, which
Okay.
is not so much evident in other parts probably.
Yeah, no,
I
we don't
think,
have that as a trend. Yeah, that's great.
yes. Yes. So I know parents and students are bothered about AI, but not worried. So they rather try and see that as a tool, not a threat. So that's something good. So we also see a lot of hype around profile building. So how much is too much? Always a conversation, and anxious parents mostly come and always ask. That's very, very, very common. And we also need to understand we are dealing with millennial parents. Most of
Yeah.
our parents are millennial parents, and they want to ask these kind of questions and come to us. But one difference is grade 8 and 9 are more involved in the profile building conversations, and it kind of subsides when they come to grade 10. So probably again the importance of boards and the percentage and
Mm,
study mindset, which is more evident here. And when it comes to grade 11, it picks up again, but more towards the competitive exams. So the emphasis on JEE, NEET still there, though they're exploring the new age careers, interdisciplinary program. So that also within the traditional ecosystem. So I can give you an example. One of my student is preparing for JEE already. A grade 11 student came and asked, "Ma'am, what is your opinion on computational social science in IIT Madras?" I was
mm.
shocked. I don't know. I said, seriously, I don't know. I haven't explored this. Let's do this together. Right. So the way they are searching the programs, not the degree, and understanding what they're going to learn and how it is going to help. So this is something I can say, slight change from what I have heard or seen. So grade 8, 9, even the students are more excited to do all these activities. They want to explore AP, they want to attempt PSAT, they want to consider internships. That is something, one of the popular choice,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
juniors.
agree.
Yeah. So they also come and ask, "Ma'am, is it good thing if we pay for the internship? I want to do internship in the UN." So then
Mm.
my polite answer always says, see, ideally, when you do work for someone, someone should pay you. Not at least you can volunteer. But if you are paying and you are doing work, do you think that makes sense? So this is how we have the conversation around that.
Yeah, I mean, how do you, I mean, it is getting, so is it a trend now with students get paid to get internships?
I
It's,
mean, I think there are a couple of agencies and companies
they
which
will place the
offer.
students to these interns.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much sharing that insights, Shailaja ma'am. And those are practical, real life insights. And I'll check out the computational social science at IIT Madras. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, there's a program like that at IIT Madras, and your students are aware of it. So that shows the level of self-motivation and self-interest that they have in trying and finding out career pathways for themselves also. Aparna ma'am, quickly over to you. Also mindful of the time, we have 11 minutes left. Audience, just before we go to Aparna ma'am, we have shared the Delhi meetup link in. So we, for those who have just joined in, we are hosting a Intersect physical Delhi meetup. After 2 months of virtual conversations, we will be finally getting together on campus for a small meetup, not the annual meetup that we do with 150 delegates from 20 countries. This is going to be a smaller gathering, but a very, very focused gathering on 23rd, Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We have shared the link. If you have interest, please feel free to join that. Uh, Again, all the sessions are recorded. This session is also being recorded. We'll be putting this on our YouTube channel in subsequent weeks. So all the previous recordings are already there on our Intersect YouTube channel. Please feel free to go there. I'll share the link in next few couple of minutes. And yeah, the third point is any questions, any feedback. We just have 10 minutes on the clock. Please use the chat option to type in that. We really appreciate your comments, feedback, or questions for the panel. Thank you so much. Aparna ma'am, over to you now.
I think we are a relatively new school compared to Shailaja's and Anamika's schools, but what I am seeing definitely at my school is a sudden interest in this year to explore destinations that our school hasn't previously explored. So whether it's Japan or whether it's South Korea or, whether it's the Nordic countries, I'm really surprised when students say, I want to look and explore Finland or Iceland. And I was like, do you even know anything about those countries? It's not just about going to study there. It's about the living environment. Are you going to succeed there in that kind of weather? That's also important. And cost-wise, yes, it might be definitely more reasonable than going to the US, which is, traditionally the most expensive higher education destination. So I'm seeing this trend of looking at different countries which they have never explored before. The other thing, yes, I would second what Shailaja said about, mathematics. I think mathematics has become the new computer science now. Everybody wants to apply for mathematics degree and not CS anymore. I'm noticing that too. And there is definitely interest
Okay.
in, programs like computational biology, computational mathematics, and computational social sciences. There is interest in those as well. Both in India and abroad, there is interest in those kind of courses as well. And but I think one thing I'm also seeing is because at my school, our students do internships at IISc, both paid and unpaid, with professors. We've been fortunate to get those opportunities for our students. So when they're already getting that exposure to an institute like the Indian Institute of Science, then their expectations from an undergraduate program really spirals. They're
Yeah.
expecting that kind of exposure they will get in the undergrad program as well. So they're looking at working with professors on their research team. They're looking at what kind of industry linkages does the university have to facilitate an internship opportunity for them. What kind of research grant does the university have? They want to even go to that level because they want to know what kind of research exposure they will get, because that's what they believe
Mm.
set them apart in the job market tomorrow. They don't perhaps need a PhD. They perhaps need a bachelor's degree with a very sound research background, that could make a difference to start with for them. They're looking for curriculum flexibility. Even in Indian colleges, US, yes, has been traditionally very flexible at the undergrad level, but, UK isn't. But they're looking to see if many of these new, foreign universities which are setting up base in India, my students are looking to see if they will offer, curriculum flexibility and interdisciplinary learning, so they want to combine a major and a minor, or even a dual major, for example. I won't call it adventurous, but I think they're very aspirational students of today. And they're willing to invest and put in that effort and time if it means it'll make a difference to their profile when it comes to going into the job market tomorrow. And they do realize that geopolitics has made, there is no guarantee of a job irrespective of whether you're studying in India or you're going abroad to study. It is going to be a challenge. So how do they differentiate their profile to make themselves more relevant to an organization that's coming to recruit them? So that's what students are keenly thinking about. So these are some trends that I've been observing.
I'm so happy to hear that the student community in Bangalore sounds more aware, more conscious of the choices. That's why probably, we are seeing at Masters Union when these students walk in, they're pretty sure of why they are at Masters Union and what they want to achieve from day one. Okay, this is what I want to do. And I think that's brilliant. I mean, these are the hardest time to be a student. I mean, sometimes I pity them.
Really?
Every time,
Really?
when you imagine 20 years back when I graduated from my college, it was a good set path for me. I get a campus placement, I get to an IT company, I start working, at least I get my first break. And I got my first break through that. I mean, these days, IT company, you said computer science is no longer an option. People are now thinking of maths, and because there are no more fresher hiring happening in the IT sector. I mean, that's a pretty stark reality. Then we have all this AI noise, and then we are talking about, okay, the jobs may not exist, and then AI will take over, and then the gig economy, and then is it relevant to, and you mentioned right, ma'am, that probably PhD is not required. A 4-year undergraduate program can lead to those career pathways where they don't have to spend 10 years at university doing a PhD and masters, and then probably starting their career. Masters Union, we are all learn by doing. We are telling them from day one, come and build a business. I will start start managing a business while you're studying. I mean, that's actually what is happening in Masters Union. My year
I
one,
think
yesterday I was talking to just to finish this thought, ma'am, 30 seconds. I was just guiding second year students who are building a business in EdTech. So they'd have these sessions with me every 2 weeks where they talk about, okay, what works with schools, what does not work with schools. And I was just having this conversation with them yesterday. And I said, yeah, I mean, you are just about 19 years old and you're thinking about, okay, valuations and this is my product line. And I'm like, when I was 19, I was chilling off in my canteen in college. I didn't know that. I thought it's just tough, right? Aparna, I'm sorry, you want to probably go ahead.
No, I think also students realize that the times have changed to such an extent that maybe a job is not the option in the future. Maybe I need to start something. And that's why
Yeah,
universities like Masters Union, you need to have more campuses to, provide access to students, because there's only that many number of students you will be able to take in your flagship campus. So if you have branch
yeah.
campuses you'll be able to provide that kind of sort of a setting where students will get the exposure and the belief that they can actually start something on their own. And India needs more entrepreneurs. There are only that
Yeah,
many jobs going around. And if you
there
actually
is.
calculate
There is.
number of students graduating out of high school every year across all boards, state, central boards, and the international boards, if you just calculate the number of students graduating from high school, we don't have enough seats for them in colleges and universities in India. We don't have that many seats in colleges. And then when they graduate from colleges, are there enough jobs for that many students graduating from colleges? That's another question I think everybody needs to, in the education sector, needs to start talking about, and then therefore, are we providing them with the right skills, knowledge, education to, encourage them to start something on their own instead of just looking for a job? So I think this definitely is something that we need to focus on. As a sector, we need to work on this in the future.
I totally echo your sentiment. And as I said, I mean, the branch campus part of it. I mean, that's if we ever open a branch, Bangalore should be our first branch. I have told this to Pratham and Swati that ये करेंगे जब भी हम next campus start करेंगे. Anamika ma'am, I'm also, we have 3 minutes on the clock. I want to come to you also. Please, I mean, your remarks on whatever we have discussed. It's been a fantastic discussion. Please, ma'am, over to you.
Yeah. So I think one of the trends that I have seen, and I think it pretty much echoes what Shailaja and Aparna have said, is that they're choosing, I think, purpose over prestige. So they're looking at rankings, yes, but I think our students are, they're already clued on to academic fit. What their career aspirations are. For example, I had a student who wanted to pursue a PhD in climate science. And she chose ISER Pune because, for her undergrad, because they have a very strong earth and climate sciences department. Now she's going to do her PhD in Germany through ISER Pune. So she knew exactly what she wanted, and she set her career path, very early on in her academic life. I had another student last year who chose NUS over LSE. She got into both, but she chose to go to NUS because she wanted more, industry exposure. She wanted to have a career in Asia. So again, there is a lot of complexity in student choices now. Like, you just said, at 19, even I was sitting in a canteen and sipping chai. But kids are I think there's some level of anxiety as well. Like you said, and like the Delhi counsellor said, there was, all of that social media and all of this marketing. So I think as our jobs as counsellors is to, sort of sift through all of that, show them a path, because information is available in a matter of seconds. So I think if we are able to guide them through this quagmire of information, I think our job is pretty much done. So yeah.
If I may just add one point.
Yeah. So we'll come for the concluding remarks to everyone.
Sure.
We can take 5 more minutes. But Aparna ma'am, over to you, and then we'll go to Shailaja ma'am, and
point I
finally
wanted to
Anamika ma'am.
Yeah, one point I wanted to make is all universities are saying we're looking for, we are very selective in our selection. We're looking for extremely strong students, but not every student is a 45 out of 45 or a 95% plus. What happens to that average student? Where is the university for that student? Universities need to think about every student. Like, for all you know, a student who may not be on paper a top student might actually turn out to be a better businessman in the future. Might be street smart, might have instincts that are much better than a student who's academically very strong, perhaps. So I think I would like to see universities not just say that your grades are the only thing that are going to help us. Of course, now everybody's talking holistic admissions and all of that, but even then it's the grades that decide. How about having some kind of a way to assess students where you actually check how street smart they are and how they are actually going to succeed both in your university and in the future? Don't just look at certain typical metrics that this so-called holistic profile, review looks at. I really wanted to say that here today. If there are university reps listening to this, I want them to rethink how they look at admissions. And because I have a student who's average, I have a student below average, I have a student academically very strong, but I want to find options for all three of them, right? So what are the options then at universities? What happens to that student who's below average, who actually, I do believe, will actually turn out to be a very strong business person in the future? So we see them very closely in school settings, But how does the university look at them when they're looking at their application? I would love for universities to think about this and have, maybe this is a conversation for another day, but this is something I believe universities need to start thinking about as well.
Absolutely. I mean, as an average student myself, I totally echo what you just said. And this is what I say when I am at schools. I mean, I was never the topper. I mean, if I didn't make it to an IIT, I went to a private engineering college. But I was a good enough student that I could make a living. Now, 20 years down the line, no problem. Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna. It's been good. We have been able, and we have been able to contribute to the society. The aim of education is to contribute to the society, to become a better person, to help others around you. I mean, build a character. I mean, those kind of things, and then definitely earn money. But I mean, money has become the end goal, but money was supposed to be the byproduct of the value that you add to the society. Now it has become all about money, and everybody is like, I mean, you heard the Delhi councillors talk about the social media pressures, and I can only imagine. That's why I say I pity these guys. I can only imagine these 18, 17 years old pressurized by Insta Reels and somebody writing research papers and 3 research papers or 5 research papers. I'm pursuing my PhD right now. I know how hard it is to come up with a synopsis. It takes a couple of years to come up with a problem statement, leave alone the research paper. But these guys are writing research papers. I don't know what kind of pressures they may be dealing with. So I am with you, Aparna ma'am. I probably we can have. I'm very passionate about this subject. Unfortunately, you mentioned it. You mentioned the data that there are not enough colleges in India. Our GER, gross enrollment ratio, right now is at 28%. Somewhere out of 100 students graduating from grade 12, only 28 make it to college, and then the jobs are even lesser. The government says that by 2035, NEP's target is that by 2035, we should increase the GAR to 50%. And then I'm thinking, where are the colleges and where are the jobs and where is the existing unemployability rate in our colleges is 50 to 60%. Students are not able to find jobs even after having degrees in PhD and whatever. That says a lot about what we are doing, and the onus lies on us as educators, as teachers. What are we doing to help the existing students in college, leave alone the other half that will join again? But another conversation, I'm very passionate. Sorry, I digressed. I need to go to Shailaja ma'am. Shailaja ji, I mean, your final concluding remarks. I mean, you want to add?
Yeah, the final remarks, I would like to touch upon the ecosystem, and I want to touch upon this point with the specific example. So I did hear the previous panel where they spoke about the IBCs. So a couple of
IBC,
them.
yeah, the branch campuses, yeah.
Yeah. And how the students are making a decision,
Yeah.
how choosing the campuses, what factors to consider. So on the front, it looks like, okay, they chase the rank, but it's not like that. So they look at the program. But so one of my students, he got an offer from Liverpool, Bangalore campus, and from Korea University, Biological Sciences. Both are good, what to do, how to make this choice. So parent, obviously, like they said, okay, whatever he likes, we are okay with both. So the student's answer is so beautiful. And he said, ma'am, I think I don't want to be the first experimental batch. I know it's closer to home. It's Bangalore. It's a known place. But I would like to go and be in that ecosystem where seniors are there. Like where there is a campus, where I can stay away, where I can be independent, where I can find myself who I am really. So, and the mental health, the environment, the support, everything matters to them. So when a 19-year-old, 18-year-old say these things, I mean, we feel nice. Priority on mental health, priority on the ecosystem, the support they get from the university, and analyze all that before taking that final decision. So I think most of us as counselors, we work in a privileged school. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I said at the start of this conversation at 4 p.m. that we are all privileged schools, privileged people. I mean, the kind of students that come to us come from privileged backgrounds, and let's be very honest about it. But even in these privileged backgrounds, I want to understand what is the trend that is going around. What is it that, I mean, some of the, I mean, let me put it very starkly here. I mean, that's the onus lies on us as privileged people to help other around us. And I remember JRD Tata, because I read a history of higher education. When he started the JRD Tata scholarships before independence, he said, I want to make sure that the brightest and the best people of the country can go out and have the best experience and come back and then contribute to uplift 100 other of his fellow countrymen. That is what we want to do. I mean, yes, but we are also a developing country, right? We are not a developed country. We need as many, and we were having this conversation again, that so many of now our students are coming back to India because they're not finding jobs abroad, because the cost of living is very high. And now they're looking for opportunities in home. And probably, I mean, the bright side, the bad side is, I mean, they have a lot of money invested that is being now is at stake. But the bright side is that India gets back its talent. And we have this student pool that will have to probably be struggle a lot in the initial years, but then they will build in India for the country, have those experiences. So thank you, Shailaja ma'am. Sorry, we are going over time. Anamika ma'am, over to you.
Yes, so I'll be really quick. So I'm a huge fan of interdisciplinarity, and I would like to see that come into our universities in a much bigger way. Yes, we have few universities in the country. We have liberal arts universities, but I think we need to move away from this vertical mindset. It was great, when we were making the country after independence, that we needed engineers and we needed MBAs. But now I think the call of the times is interdisciplinarity. So that is something, it would be nice if more universities would adapt to that.
You have just again touched on a
for
very
this.
important point. I want to add here, Anamika ma'am, thank you for bringing this up as a concluding remark. I'm a faculty research fellow at IIT Delhi. I mean, so I'm doing a lot of readings around the inceptions of IITs. How did IITs come into being? And I am reading the history of IITs. And when you go through the archives, IITs was modeled on the lines of MIT in US. Why MIT in
Correct.
US? Because MIT approach was interdisciplinary and they included social sciences with engineering and pure sciences. So actually our IITs are supposed to be interdisciplinary institutions. And I was reading this, I mean, this is the report I was reading just before coming to this 4 p.m. session. The original vision document, the Sarkar report in 1946 said we already had state engineering colleges in Madras, in Bombay, in Delhi, in Allahabad, in Banaras, all these places. Why did the need of IITs come around? Because they said, okay, we don't want people only with technical education. We need people who are aware of their country, of their society, of how they can contribute to others around them, use sciences and technology to uplift their communities from where they are going to graduate from. We unfortunately we lost it.
Completely lost the plot.
We have lost the plot. We have now just become, and then it talks about, I mean, these papers talk about, I'm doing a lot of archival study. Then they talk about how IITs lost the plot in 70s because the brightest people who went to IITs then thought of making big careers not of their fault, and the only pathway they saw was in US. 65 US opened to Indians, allowed permanent residencies and visas opened because of the Lyndon Johnson, or the president, who was the president, I forget, but he opened the gates to Indians to come to US and study. 67 onwards, all the IITians, Kanpur, Mumbai, all of them started choosing computers. Infosys, Narayan Murthy went to IIT Kanpur to do his MTech. And then from doing an IIT Kanpur MTech, he realized that, okay, he met a professor from IIM Ahmedabad there who was a MIT scientist who was teaching at IIT Kanpur. Then he went to IIM Ahmedabad. Narayan Murthy followed him to IIM Ahmedabad to be his student. And then he opened the gate for Narayan Murthy to start working with Patni Computers in US. And then how IIM Ahmedabad and IIT Kanpur led to the inception of Infosys through that professor who was an MIT. So if you want to understand IITs, it's MIT, social science, interdisciplinary. A lot of our IT revolution comes from all of this. But we seem to not have the time to go through this because we are so engrossed in our day-to-day affairs. Thank you so much. This was such a fantastic conversation. Sorry, there is a chat comment.
I'll get in touch with Chandni. She is a former colleague.
Chandni Vadvani says,
Yes.
okay, special hello to you, ma'am. In
reach out
addition
to
to
her.
helping students identify fitting UG courses, how do you help students build agency and promote leadership, building holistic development? Anybody wants to take this up? I don't want to leave it
Take that,
because
I can
Aparna
take that
ma'am, you want
question.
to take this up? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm happy to take that. So actually, Chandni, hi, and lovely to hear from you after a long time. This is something that at 10X is part of our we have an in-house developed curriculum. In addition to the IB curriculum that we offer, International Baccalaureate, we also have an in-house developed curriculum called Life Entrepreneurship, which includes verticals like design thinking, leadership, entrepreneurship, and innovation, and nation building as well. And part of that is that we have a 4+1 hybrid model where students come to school 4 days a week, and 1 day a week they are allowed to pursue any of their passion projects or any ideas that they'd like to pursue and so on. The whole point of giving, and it's called the Genius Day. The idea is to give them the time to do what they like doing, but also give them the responsibility and teach them how to take initiative. Because if they're in a school environment, then it's still structured. It is still we telling them, you do this, do this, go to the STEAM lab and, explore here and all of that. But if you give them that 1 day off and ask them to sort of develop their initiative, take responsibility for their work and their actions, that's one way to develop agency. Is to give them the opportunity, because they'll otherwise keep saying, I don't have the time to do an innovation project. I don't have the time to do a research paper. We are giving you that time once a week in school. Out of the 5 days, you get 1 day off from school to go and pursue these interests. You could either be, if you're a squash player, you go play squash if that's your passion. You're interested in pursuing research with a professor at IISc, go on that 1 day of the week by all means, But I think it's also about giving them opportunity and then encouraging them to take initiative and developing a self-agency. That's important. And that comes when you give these opportunities to students. Because otherwise, within a school confines, it's very difficult to do a lot of things that they would like to otherwise explore. So that's some opportunity that we're giving at 10X, which has helped us notice that students do develop a very high level of agency in that sense.
Genius Day sounds like a day that every school should start having. I mean, if we have to move with times. Thank you so much for concluding on such a high note. Shailaja ma'am, Aparna ma'am, Anamika ji, all of you have been wonderful. Even my earlier panelists were amazing. All six of them, the five of them, sorry, that spoke before this panel, I want to acknowledge and again say thank you to all of you for making time, sharing your knowledge, sharing your expertise, articulating your ideas so well. I know we always run short of time because we have so much passion when we come here and we speak about these subjects which are close to our heart. I'm very grateful that we at Intersect by Masters Union have been able to create this platform to bring together so many passionate educators. We hope to keep bringing you together, keep creating new opportunities for us to collaborate and probably start building on few of these ideas that come out of these conversations that we are having since last few months. I will take the onus and responsibility of building on those opportunities. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week with another 2 hours of programming. As I said, we have a fantastic round of programming for next week. We'll be releasing that information in coming days, but look forward. Thank you to all the audience. Thank you for your comments.